Onje choda jogi chonam la cha jogo do tane ke sunje dai jilge be sunam de to la benje sange du marai jo sange choda jogi chonam la cha jogo do tane ke sunje dai jilge be sunam de to la benje sange du marai jo la ma la ke sunje sange ke sunje chola ke sunje ke sunje
It's cold in the room, and there's a draft from the window. My damp clothes are at the bottom of my sleeping bag in a vain attempt to get them dry. The altitude is starting to have an effect, and I have throbbing headaches. It's almost 6:30 in Namche Bazaar, and I'm just over halfway to Everest Base Camp. It's only a few days since I landed in Kathmandu, but that seems a long time ago. Prayer flags flutter in the wind. Mantras are sent up to the gods to provide protection and blessings to the whole universe and everything that lives here on earth. Buddhanath Stupa is not only the largest stupa in Kathmandu, but also the center of Buddhism throughout Nepal. The stupa is said to have the power to fulfill all wishes. Pilgrims come from all around the world to walk clockwise around the stupa and spin worn prayer wheels, just as they've done for 1,500 years. In Kathmandu, Buddhism is very present, even though most of the population are Hindus. I like the fact that it's more of a philosophy than a religion. I glance up, and above me Buddha's all-seeing eye watches over us. I think of my wish. The air is heavy with the scent of food and spices, exhaust fumes, dust and sweat. Life takes place on the streets. Women with tikka mark and wearing saris make their way through the busy traffic. And everywhere, people are hard at work. Small workshops, restaurants and climbing shops are wall-to-wall with slaughterhouses and hairdressing saloons. The electricity grid might not be quite up to Swedish standards. I buy a mouth harp for 200 Swedish crowns. It's far too expensive, but I think about the seller's family who no doubt needs the money. In the little temple, the Lama prays to the gods for my trek to go well. I'm given a white scarf to bring me luck on the mountain. A hill a little north of the city is home to the holy monkeys. According to legend, they originate from lies in the curls of a bodhisattva. Here, the monkeys are king. Alaya is the Nepalese word for home, and Hima means snow, the Himalayas, where the snow lives. It's late September. The monsoon stubbornly persists. The weather's bad, and my plane had to turn back. I'm lucky to get a seat in a helicopter, but the rain and mist force it to land by a small village. I look over the rooftops to try to catch a glimpse of the mountains, but they are still too far away. The school children look at us curiously. It's a normal school day for them, except that a helicopter just landed on their football pitch. 124 languages are spoken in Nepal. Several major religions coexist alongside popular folklore. People from completely different ethnic groups and religions live together peacefully. I think we Westerners have a lot to learn here. I'm still a long way from Lukla, a small town where my trek will begin. It's a steep trek in the pouring rain from Surke up to Lukla. I arrive soaking wet and I'm met by the aroma of hot ginger and lemon tea. I leave Lukla early in the morning. The monsoon doesn't give up, but it's an easy 6-hour trek on well-trodden paths. A lot downhill, which is annoying. You don't want to lose a single meter of the altitude that you walked up. Nature is at its most beautiful when it's raining. I love the rain and mist. The trekking season hasn't begun. It's nice not to be in a crowd of hikers. I'd rather queue up behind a yak. It's lovely to arrive at Monju and step into a warm kitchen with an open fire. After a while, fatigue takes over. A thin plywood cubbyhole is calling to me. It's a bit like sleeping in a cello. I'm getting close to Sagarmatha National Park. On the other side of the entrance, I'm rendered speechless. Nature takes over and speaks its own beautiful language. I'm in the lower part of the Khumbu Valley, which extends all the way to Mount Everest. I trek along the flanks of the mountains and cross the Dudkosi River repeatedly. The Dudkosi River, literally the Milk River, got its name from all the silt that turns the water white as it flows out from the Khumbu Glacier more than 5,000 meters above me. I've already crossed a lot of suspension bridges, but this one's the highest. I feel lightheaded as I look down at the water. A drop jock has lost its pack and is blocking the whole bridge. For a moment the animal seems to panic, but it soon calms down. Groups of Sherpas, porters and hikers, impatiently wait by the abutments. The white, icy water flows far beneath us. Now it's a 2-hour trek up to Namche Bazaar, which is 800 meters above me. The first thing to strike me in Namche Bazaar is the thunder of the rapids that drive the big prayer wheels. They must send prayers up to the gods at a terrific rate. Most climbing paraphernalia can be bought in the alleyways. Many items are copies of well-known brands. Prices are about the same as at home. Still, it feels good to have an acclimatization day here among the cafes, shops and tea houses. Namche Bazaar is an old trading station where people from the Khumbu Valley and Tibet have been doing business since time immemorial. But I prefer to trek up to Everest viewpoint, where I got my first real glimpse of the Himalayas. It's a majestic sight. Our rooms are basic and have no heating. Wet clothes don't dry, and a hot shower is a luxury. But the food tastes good and the company is excellent. I linger in the warmth of the wood-burning stove before returning to my cold room. On the way between Namche and the village of Pangboche, I meet Lobsang Sherpa. By collecting money, he has single-handedly funded the renovation of the road I have just walked for the past hour. Day after day, he walks from Namche to sit by his collection box. A life's work. Our main guide, Chhiring, has been to the summit of Mount Everest 16 times. He started as a porter at the age of 12, and since then he has climbed all the major mountains in the Himalayas. Today, he is one of the best-known guides in Nepal. He earned his legendary status in 2008 when he saved lives on K2 when bottleneck, a passageway high up the mountain, collapsed, killing 11 climbers. When he's not climbing, he drives a taxi and works at a shoe store in Colorado. That's a long journey from Khumbu Valley, where he grew up in simple circumstances.
No omelette, this is like, actually that's secret, but I want to show about this little bit safety things. Protect from goose and protect from the avalanche. Very good. If this is with us, little bit of safety. 85% is safety.
Along the trail, there are plenty of tea houses serving dal bhat, a dish of lentils and rice that comes with different side dishes. I drink plenty to keep the altitude sickness at bay, probably a few liters of tea a day. I often see monks studying the Holy Scriptures, the Dharma. A wood-burning stove in the middle of the dining room is the only source of heat. It is very clean along the trail, and that surprises me. With all the people trekking here, I thought it would be strewn with litter. I know that they take dead bodies down from Everest and take away robes and oxygen tubes to keep the mountain clean. But I didn't know that there were organized cleanup projects. In Namche Bazaar, I meet Tommy, the only Swede living here in the village. He runs the Sagarmatha Next project, which helps to keep the Khumbu Valley litter-free.
The project name is Sagarmatha Next. Sagarmatha is Everest in Nepali, so it's Everest Next. And it's basically a project about how can you support a high-altitude mountain region where tourism has grown and increased, food, drinks, and all kinds of services that actually creates waste. We need to bring most of the waste out. And that means we're going to have a carry-me-back pouch system and a pickup station on the last day of the walk back to the airstrip in Lukla and ask everybody to carry 1 kilo with them back. If everybody participate, we will actually get 80 tons out without transportation and cost. And carry 1 kilo back is not a big effort, but it becomes huge if everybody participates. So Sagarmatha Next is an innovation hub, and it's all about a concept where we would like to inspire both the local people as well as the visitors. How can waste materials be reused, recycled and upcycled, turned into a value? The current practice in Khumbu is collecting waste and burn. We would like to change that. To do that, we're going to showcase by inviting international artists and designers to come to Sagarmatha Next Center and create artwork and design products out of waste. We will exhibit it in a gallery and a shop and hopefully sell it. And the revenues that we can generate from it will then be reinvested in supporting the local organization in charge of this waste management operation. So the vision actually becomes very simple in a way. I love this place, this is my home. I would love to see this place being taken care of by everybody, either who lives here or who comes here to enjoy it.
In Buddha's time, tigers, elephants, and rhinoceros roamed the wooded valleys of Nepal. Deforestation and poaching have wiped out everything. The mountains bear witness to history, and the thunder of avalanches may be their way of exacting revenge and demonstrating their strength. The village of Pangboche is situated on a high ridge, and after a steep trek, I am richly rewarded when Mount Everest unashamedly reveals itself. This is also where the famous monastery is situated, where so many climbers have stopped to receive the monks' blessings before climbing to the summit. Tenzing Norgay, the first man to reach the summit of Everest, together with Edmund Hillary, grew up in a small village called Tamel. For a while, he studied to become a monk at the monastery here. Now the yaks outside the monastery walls are watered, while we eat the best meal of the trip next to the world's highest bakery. Helicopters fly past, packed with tourists. But I don't understand their thinking. Surely it must be a superficial experience to just get off at the base camp, take a few photos, and fly back down again. I think that would be throwing away a great experience. After all, reaching the foot of Everest should be something you earn. You come across a lot of porters who go up and down the mountain like worker ants. The maximum load is 15 kilos or 30 kilos for a hefty yak. I think they're careful to stick to this, but all the cumbersome loads do look heavy. Between the village of Lobuche and Gorakshep, I passed the memorial site for those who have lost their lives on Everest. In the mist and silence, it's fascinating to read about their fates. I think a lot about Rob Hall and his phone call from the summit of Everest to his wife in Australia. Both of them knew that he would die that night. What do you say to each other in that situation? Everest is a place for dreams. Dreams that are successful and dreams that are crushed. There's an air of peace and tranquility over the small plateau. And I feel immense gratitude for being alive and getting to experience this. Everest Base Camp is empty. It's not the season for climbing the mountain. The best conditions for climbing Mount Everest are usually in the last few days of May. Now it's something of an anticlimax. A group of hikers pull off their sweaters and tense their bare torsos in a victory roar while their mobile phones take photos. I look up at Everest and hope that she excuses their arrogance. It's more than 3,500 meters to the summit. Base camp is barely the beginning. I trudge over towards Gorakshep, food and sleep. Gorakshep is the old base camp and nowadays it mainly comprises wooden barracks. It's time to eat, rest and recharge my batteries before the final trek to the summit of Kalapatar. It's misty when I set off. Halfway up, the clouds ease off. Slowly, the landscape begins to emerge. It's the last day of my trek upwards, and I can feel it in my legs. Now I'm over 5,000 meters above sea level and have to stop frequently to catch my breath. At this altitude, the oxygen level is about half of what you get at sea level. When I reach the top of Kalapatar at around 5,700 meters, the entire mountain chain is laid out before me like a horseshoe. The sugarloaf dome of Pumori lies directly ahead of me. To the right are Pangboche, Shangtse and Shula, while Lhotse and Everest rise up behind Nuptse. Standing here elicits a very special sense of elation. It stems not only from the effort and 10 days of trekking, but also from the magnificent view in front of me. There's a calmness on the mountain. A man drops to his knees and proposes to his girlfriend. He couldn't have chosen a better spot. Everest still hasn't revealed herself in full. She's hiding behind the other summits as though they were her children. However, I still recognize the silhouette and can clearly make out the south summit and Hillary Step rock face. I look around to take in the whole view. This was worth each and every step. But I can't help wonder what it would feel like to stand on the top of the summit of the world's highest mountain. Then I turn around and begin the long trek home.